Big 12 football with the voice of college football is brought to you by State Farm agent Chris Nowalski. Mountaineer fans, if you don't have State Farm auto insurance, let Chris Nowalski provide you with a no obligation quote to see how much money and better coverage he can get you. Just visit switch2chris.com or call 304-925-0384 for life, home, car insurance, and more. Get a free quote from State Farm agent Chris Nowalski. Now back to our show.
What is up, Big 12 Nation? Here we are. It is so good to be with you. It's another Tuesday. I hope wherever you are staying warm because, my gosh, I think everywhere in Big 12 country without exception, we are dealing with some frigid temperatures. Some of you more than the rest of us. All of the West Virginia fans watching right now are like, you mean it got down to 11 in your state and in DFW? Cry me a freaking river. Well, we're all surviving. We're all staying warm, and we're all in for another great Biggest 12 episode for you here. Thanks so much for being with me. I, of course, as always, am your host, Clint Foster, and you are watching the Biggest 12, everybody's favorite Big 12 YouTube live show. Yes, and please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel at Big 12 VOCFB. That's us right here. This is where you get the show every Tuesday night and lots of other great content. It's not just me. It's a whole lot of folks doing great stuff all the time here on the Voice of College Football Network's Big 12 wing. So subscribe, hit the notification button, like this video, share it with all your friends and family, because this is an especially exciting one if you're a TCU fan. We got a reunion of Toad Talk, okay? If you were a fan of mine long before the YouTube channel, back when I was co-hosting a podcast with my good friend Billy Wessels and occasionally Chris Gardner as well. We got Billy Wessels going to come join me today here in probably about 10, 15 minutes, and we are going to do a post-mortem on TCU. I've told y'all this is going to be the plan here for the first several weeks of the offseason. We're going to do post-mortem episodes dedicated to every single team. We're starting out with the Frogs because Billy was available tonight, and, Frogs happen to be a team that I particularly care about. So we're going to start with the Frogs. It's going to be a semi-depressing episode today as we talk about the state of TCU football after the 2023 season and hopefully a little bit of hope heading forward into next year. If you haven't already, follow me, please, on Twitter at Clint_Foster55 and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Clint Foster Comedy. Been a little busy lately. I have some scripts that I'm working on. Hopefully here soon. I'm eyeing... teaching has been a little busier than I anticipated. But here relatively soon, hopefully one of these weekends, I'll have some free time when I don't have 15,000 projects I'm having to do and honey to-dos and all that stuff, and get some more videos up on the channel for you. But there's always great stuff, look back at the old stuff. And, if you subscribe, then you'll be the first to know whenever I post the new stuff. That's very exciting. So please do that. Please do that. I want to start this show out with a little bit of a rant, all right, based on something that I saw on Twitter today. And I think it's very symptomatic of where we're at in the college football landscape right now. So allow me to share this with you. We are going to share this tab. And we'll just share the entire screen. This seems easier. Okay, share the entire screen. Here we go. So I saw this on Scott Wildcat's Twitter. Some of you Kansas State fans may follow Scott Wildcat, and I think Scott really hits the nail on the head with this his take on this clip from a podcast. I don't even know what podcast this is, but I think that this is the general sentiment among many in the national media. So let's take a moment here. Let's listen to this clip, and then I'll share my thoughts. Here we go. So there you have it. It feels hopeless to him, right? Oh, you can't hear it. Wonderful. You couldn't hear it the whole time. So the whole point is he was talking about as an Arizona journalist, right? Arizona's not going to compete for a national title. So it all feels, what's even the point? What's the point of being an Arizona fan? This is why people don't like national journalists, okay? This is what's wrong with college football right now. And I think Scott hit the nail on the head. He said in his tweet, the biggest issue with college football isn't bowl games. It isn't the transfer portal. It isn't NIL. It isn't coaches leaving. It's sports journalists with platforms asking, what's the point of being a fan of a program outside of the Blue Buds? And it's disgusting. He is 100% right, right? What's the point? Why are you covering this sport? The point is everybody wants to win a national championship. Everyone wants to ultimately compete for a national championship. But this sport is about so much more than that, right? It's about family ties and regional rivalries and kids that you got to see play in high school now playing for the college that you love. It's about having something that gives you community on Saturday, right? And it's people like this that are trying to ruin the sport, absolutely ruin it. So just had to get that quick rant out of the way. Let's talk about TCU. And I'm going to start it out. We're still waiting on Billy, but guess what? We got a surprise guest right now. He's been on the show once before, former TCU linebacker, my friend, and former emeritus co-host of the Toad Talk podcast. Here is Chris Gardner, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, I love that background, man. You're looking good.
Hey, try to do what I can. I'm professional.
How you doing, Chris? You staying warm, man?
Yeah, man, it's pretty warm. But outside was crazy today. I went outside for like 2 minutes and my hands started to numb, and I didn't appreciate that. I don't know if you know, but the TCU game is on.
Yes, I was trying to get it up on my TV before I had to start the show. I was trying to get it up on mute, but I'm pirating ESPN Plus, so I had to remember the login information. Just lost him for a second, but hey, So to all the TCU fans tuning in, hopefully you've got the TCU Cincinnati game on mute right now on your TVs. I was, like I said, trying to get mine situated in here, and it was not cooperating with me, and I was like, oh, well, time to start the show. So, but yes. We've got Chris Gardner in the house. He may need to rejoin us here in a moment. Let me just.
There you go. Sorry about that.
There you are. There you are.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I don't like that we're on ESPN Plus. We're a top 20 ranked team. Can we at least get ESPN News? Can we at least be on ESPN News?
Well, they got 3
3
games this week on ESPN Plus. 3 Big 12 games. This is the best basketball conference in the nation, hands down. We are in basketball. He thinks they are in football. You know what I'm saying?
But then there's no app for ESPN on the TV. You know what I mean? Like you have to stream your phone to the TV, and so I don't appreciate that. All right, okay, my rant is over. How y'all doing today? Go for all.
It's a day for rants. It is a day for rants, absolutely. We'll get Billy in here in a moment. We'll have the full Toad Talk reunion, and this is going to be very fun. But Chris, if you had to give a letter grade, right? I'm a teacher now, so I'm assigning a lot of letter grades these days. If you had to assign a letter grade to the TCU 2023 season, what letter grade would you assign it?
Does it go lower than F? Is there anything lower? I don't know. I haven't been to school in a while. I don't know if they're all inclusive, so maybe a Z. I don't know. Whatever's lower than F.
Yeah. That was my sentiment exactly when I was. Yeah. I mean, tell me why though. Justify it.
Mm-mm. Because there's no. I mean the tiny glimmer of hope is you're hoping Josh Hoover develops, right? Mm-hmm. Without that, bad teams need one thing. We need hope. Okay, NFL, whatever sport you're watching, you need. If my team could be terrible, but if we have the first pick of the draft, then it's like, oh, okay, boom, there's something there. Maybe we don't know what it's gonna be, but at least there's a glimmer of hope. So we throughout the season when Chandler was there, like there was like it was like, oh, this is hopeless. He's an older core. I mean, what do we have coming in? Like there's no glimmer of hope. So that was my F, is because where is the hope? Who is the hope? Who am I excited for next year? Who am I like, oh, well, yeah, this year they were young. We weren't good here, but there was this, and this to build on. I mean, the defense was porous for the first time, and I think, man, I don't remember a time where our special teams wasn't good as long as the Gary Patterson era was around. Okay, so before that, I can't call that because I didn't know, but I know since I've been here that last year was we've always been, we could be bad on offense or not really great on defense, but we've always had good special teams. This year we didn't even have good special teams. Like bad offense, bad defense, bad special teams. Defense didn't look like it had a game plan. Where's the hope? Is it the kids? Is it the scheme? I mean, to the fact that we went to a national championship one year, and then the very next year we fired our defensive coordinator, and people were begging for him to be fired. So it wasn't even like a surprise firing, or like maybe that's an overreaction. And so it's like, where's the hope? That's all I'm saying. What do I have to look forward to? Who's my guy? Who's the quarterback that he's just a rookie, or he's just a freshman, but he'll turn around? Josh is great. Josh gave us hope, a little hope. But if you really look at the big picture, do you really believe Josh Hoover is a Max Duggan, a Andy Dalton, somebody that's really going to lead us to an undefeated season, that's the standard here now. I'm sorry. Welcome to TCU football. This is the standard. Like a good season is not 10 wins here. A good season is 12 to 13 to 14 wins. That's a good season.
Yeah.
And so where's the hope?
It's interesting that you compare him to, is he a Max Duggan? Is he a Andy Dalton? Because, I mean, so obviously he's not a Trayvon Boykin, right? He's not some generational talent. But from
let me take that back because I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have left him out because I just made a quarterback that could take us to 12, 13 wins. So
right. I mean, but it's two different things, right? Andy and Max weren't Trey, right? It wasn't just talent that those guys were both leaders, character guy. Not that Trey's not a character guy, but Max was I'm putting the team on my back and I'm willing to victory. Andy was, we're doing everything the right way and, setting the tone from working all throughout the week. From what I've heard, I've talked to a couple of people, one specific person inside the program who has said that Josh Hoover reminds him a lot of Andy Dalton in that way. He's got the intangibles, he's got the leadership, and the team really, really loves him, similar to Andy when me and you were there, Chris. And I think I like Josh Hoover a lot. I think that the biggest issue for Josh this past year was the offensive line was absolutely abysmal, right? And hopefully some of these guys that we've got coming in on the transfer portal that haven't already left to go somewhere else. This is just wild now. Hopefully some of those guys can help shore up the interior of the line. But yeah, you mentioned Gillespie getting fired, right? People begging to have the defensive coordinator fired. And now we got Andy Avalos, a defensive coordinator, going into the next season. What are you thinking about him? Did you look at any of Oregon's defense back when he was the defensive coordinator there, or the late Nate Vander Esch Boise State teams when he was at Boise State? What are your thoughts?
Okay, I'm at least, there's like I said, there's that glimmer of hope. We know what we just had, right? And so we're hoping that the next guy that comes in brings it. But you got to understand, TCU, and I don't think Sonny has fully embraced this yet. Bro, we've had 20 years of seeing top 5, not top 10, not top 100, not top half, top 5 in the country defense for 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. Other than the last 4 or 5 years. Other than that, so our expectation, our level of what is good defense is I think the standard that is not being appreciated right now. Okay, I think Sonny's not really embracing that side of it. Mm-hmm. I think he's getting stopgap defensive coordinators, and that's what I kind of. If you really want honesty, that's what I feel like. Gillespie was a stopgap. He wasn't really he wasn't gonna make us the number 1 defense at any point. He just wants to slow teams down a little bit. And so this guy, it's kind of the same scheme. The 3-3-5. That 3-3-5 and just from my experience, I guess besides Iowa State, I haven't really seen it work. Okay, I don't really see it work. I don't like it. The number one teams in the country, the big teams, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, all have 4 defensive linemen. We're not recruiting at their level. So why would we take away a person? You know what I mean? Like, we need all the help we can get down there. And so that's maybe I'm just I'm not a big fan of the 3-3-5. So I don't feel like we're bringing in defensive coordinators to shut teams down. I think we're bringing them in to slow them down after we've got ahead of them. And I'm as a TCU guy, as a defensive guy, as somebody who's watched TCU for the past 15 years, defense is not slowing somebody down. Defense is stopping them. And so I'm hoping that he embraces that when he comes in, but I'm not with it. I'm not going to hold my breath or anything like that. Like, I'm just more like that than anything.
I mean, I'm with you. It's hard to have seen the 4-2-5 for 20 years and be so successful and then be like, oh, yes, I'm totally okay with this defensive scheme that's designed to bend and not break and, hopefully get a stop in the red zone. The only thing that's giving me hope, we're talking about glimmers of hope, is that Andy Avalos' scheme is designed a lot more around pressure. He's always bringing somebody. He's never going to have less than 4 guys rushing, which is something we saw way too many 3-man rushes with Gillespie, even in the national championship season. So here we go. The reunion is complete. Billy Wessel's in the house. There he is.
You
Billy, how you
surprised me
doing,
with
friend?
Chris. It's my birthday. It's Chris.
Yeah. The gang's all here.
Wow.
Missed you, man.
I miss you more, dude.
So Billy Wessels, for those
Hi.
unfamiliar, I put TCU journalism legend on the screen for a reason. This is the man responsible for Kenny Hustle's nickname, Kenrick Williams, who now has had his jersey retired. I know this is voice of college football, but we got to talk a little bit college basketball when we're on a Big 12 show. Billy, former co-host with me with Toad Talk. How you been, friend? Are you staying warm?
Man, barely. Yeah. It's cold out there. I wish we were in person so we all get a little bit closer. Like, especially Chris. I know you'd help out with that. But yeah, this is
I'm a warm guy.
Yeah, quite the cold front. But yeah, it's I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here, and I know, man, I'm very excited to be back with you guys. Miss y'all so much.
Yeah, this is fun, man. This is great. So I already asked Chris, and I want to know from you as well. If you had to assign a letter grade to the 2023 season, what would you have given the Frogs?
D-? I don't know. Chris's face. I don't know what that means. You come off with such high expectations.
I want to listen.
It's such high expectations, right? You make the national title game. You think year 2 is sunny. Maybe you build upon that. I don't know. You can't build too much further, but the expectations were so high to at least make the Big 12 title game. Hopefully, I know you're replacing a lot of people, but they fell way short of expectations, in my opinion. But to not even make a bowl game, to make the Natty and miss a bowl game, that's such a disappointment.
Yeah. It's the lack of even coming close to reaching expectations. That's why it's an F for me, because I mean, it seemed like everybody in the TCU sphere was talking like, this is a 10-win team. We can win double-digit wins again. We can maybe back our way into the Big 12 title game. The excitement was high. And then, to not even make a bowl game. And so many of those games were winnable games. Yeah. Getting absolutely demolished by Iowa State was a low point. I mean, and then you have the brief flashes against like BYU, and then come back, turn around, and look awful again. So let's unpack it. What all went wrong? What went right it would be a shorter thing, right? But what were all of the issues that we saw take place with TCU in 2023 that got us this horrific season that fell short of expectations?
How long is this show? What time we got?
As long as it needs to be. Usually about an hour.
Yeah. No, I think Chris will speak to this better than any of us can, because being someone that was on that defense for so long and watching that just evaporate, like turn into just sheer Swiss cheese, was shocking. Like, I thought you get Dominic Williams back another year. I was Josh Newton. I was like, all right, the Fig's going to be out there picking people off, and he still had a decent year, but less than I expected. Bud Clark, I think, took a big step back in a way. The defense was just so much worse than I thought, and sure, the offense, if you look at sheer numbers, right, it was just as good, arguably close to stats wise. But the games were so different this year. You're too far behind. You're getting garbage time scores that grossly inflated those numbers. So I think the defense. I mean, I know Chris will speak more to it, but the defense was such a letdown. Watching that defense for the first time in a long time in this purple was shocking.
Yeah, that Oklahoma game in
already
particular.
Went
Go
in
ahead,
on
Chris.
that. No, I was just saying I already went in on the defense.
Yeah, I figured you did. I figured you did. I'm late to the show, but yeah.
That Oklahoma game in particular was eye-opening, right? That was a game where I was like, Gillespie cannot. I've gotten to a point in my life where I hate calling for people's jobs. I hate being like, so-and-so needs to be fired. But I was like, he cannot return after that. Like a second straight season-ending game where you give up over 60 points again. And I mean, we couldn't do anything right on defense in that game. It was just terrific. And, you know, the lack of pressure, guys being out of position. I mean, I go back to that Colorado game at the very beginning of the year, and I had the good fortune of running into a lot of other former players, Chris. Like at one point I was hanging out with Elisha Olabode and Josh Boyce and James Dunbar and all these guys. It was so fun. But like we were all saying the same thing. Why are the corners playing 10 yards off the ball on 3rd and 2? You know, why are we in this weird zone coverage that's so close to the sticks? Why aren't we manning up? Why aren't we bringing pressure? What is happening? It was just, and I mean, I know part of that you can chalk up to, oh, well, we didn't have any film and we didn't know exactly what the Colorado offense was going to look like. But some of this is just basic football stuff, like situational coaching. Like why, again, you've got like a 4th and short situation or a 3rd and short, whatever it was. That was months ago at this point. And you're playing off the ball by 8 or 10 yards. Like it just doesn't make any sense. I'm hopeful that Andy Avalos can turn things back around.
Did anybody watch Deion Sanders' SI Sportsman of the Year award and see if he thanked Joe Gillespie? Because that's the only reason why he won that.
Yeah, you are correct. I didn't see that. But, the whole nation can thank us for that one.
Yeah, that's it, you're right. A lot of it schematic was the issue. To just watch it and then watch guys run. Okay, so if you're going to rush 3 people, right? Okay, you're going to rush 3 people. That's fine. So that means there should be a lot of coverage on the back end. But we have rushed 3 people and still have guys running wide open. And so it's like if I'd rather you do, like you said, Avios. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Avalos, yeah.
Yeah, Avalos. Okay, so I would rather him bring 5 people, you know what I mean, to try to get a sack, and then there'd be a guy run wide open. Then we rush 3 people, and then there's still a guy running wide open. Like I was just like the fundamentals of that defense was flawed, and I never understood. He was one of those guys who was not gonna. He didn't care. He wasn't gonna change. 3-3-5 should be a package and not. I mean, it could be a base defense, but there has to be a 4th defender. There has to be some way to alternate it, to change it up. I mean, teams like Georgia, teams with coaching staffs that are legit or really, you know what I mean, carry the salt or whatever it is people say. Like those kind of coaching staffs literally would laugh when they would play us. Like think about Deion Sanders. He said it his halftime, and I don't know if y'all seen because I'm pretty sure y'all were at the game. But Deion Sanders did his halftime talk. I forgot it was Clarissa Thompson or whatever. And she was like, hey, how do you feel about the game? He was like, we can do whatever we want on offense. And I was like, for coaches and players, and if you've seen Kansas State started to say that, like people started to say it throughout the season, like, oh, we can do whatever we want. Like, how do you not fire the person right then and there? Like, I don't want the one thing I never want my rival to do is to say we can do whatever we want here. We can score whenever we want. Like, dang, bro, Sonny's got to see that. Somebody's got to see that. So I'm just happy he's gone. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm happy. I hope them the best, just the best away from here. You know.
Right. Well, hopefully this is what we have to look forward to with Andy Avalos. I'll play y'all this clip. This is actually from when he was the defensive coordinator at Oregon. Quick little clip here from them playing Wisconsin, and you can see the kind of pressure that he's going to bring on a 3rd and 7 situation here. If I can get it to play again. Well, it played a second ago. I love this for me.
Oh, technology.
Can we get the number one recruit in the class to come in and be the star? Like, this is Kayvon Thibodeau. He was number one in like the 2015 class, wasn't
Well,
he?
yeah.
Like,
obviously, we
that
got
would
some
help.
great. Yeah, we got some great talent on this defense.
That's all we need.
Yeah, maybe that'll be
Do we have
Nana
talent coming in? If
Mofoso-Mensah.
y'all don't mind me asking.
Say what?
We
Do we
do.
have talent coming in?
So the biggest. Here we go. Right. So brings heat, forces an interception. Right. But yes, I mean, I think this class that we have coming in isn't quite as good as the last class, but there's still a lot of pieces that I know the coaching staff is excited about. And actually, I'll get that pulled up here in a second. If you want to.
Recruiting is so wonky now, though, man. With the portal, I was trying to do some studying on the way in today. I have no idea. I don't know who's going to be starting where. You brought in 9 defensive backs like 2 days ago. It's going to be total. See what happens in spring ball, and get a roster then, and check it again in August. You won't know who's going to be out there anymore.
Oh yeah, the 9 defensive backs. I didn't know what to make of that. I was like, how do we have this many roster spots for defense?
I don't think we do, but I think it was a smaller high school class than usual, right? But now you do so much in the portal, and I mean, Sonny's done a good job of getting a couple key pieces in the portal. Like Johnny Hodges was such a massive piece that he just picked up that no one knew about, right? If he does that with 1 or 2 of these guys, then yeah, it pays off.
Okay, so here we're looking at guys who are already enrolled, right? Haas Haney's a big one. This is one that we should be excited about. He's won 2 state championships at Aledo. Actually coached his little brother in 6th grade at All Saints this past football season. Really, really, really good athlete and good head on his shoulders. Really good TCU family. So that's an exciting one.
Question on Haas, though.
Yeah.
And I think looks like he's going to be really good. Would that have prevented you from getting a higher level portal quarterback? Because they seem to not have any interest in doing that because they have him coming in, and you saw some out of Hoover. Would you have liked to still have added a KJ Jefferson, somebody like that, or is that too big of a distraction?
I think you're a fool if you say you don't want KJ Jefferson. Like, I would have loved to have added KJ Jefferson. And I don't think Haas or Josh Hoover would have had a problem with that. I just think it's KJ Jefferson didn't want to play for Art Browsley or Freudian slip. Kendall Briles again.
Yeah, but it seemed like there was not a whole lot of interest in getting someone else in the portal. Maybe I just misread the situation. I'm out of it all now, but you would have liked to get someone. No offense to Ken, bigger than Ken Seals in the portal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think that was just a depth guy. You know, I think that's all that was about.
100%.
Nate Palmer's a great running back out of Decatur. I'm shocked that he's only a 3-star. He had a really good career at Decatur. I'm trying to think of what I know about these other guys. I know that the coaching staff is high on Travis Jackson as another edge. Oh, Dozie Ezekunma. He actually was at All Saints for a year. This is a good wide receiver. His frame looks bigger than 6'2". He's got very long arms, and I mean, y'all know I'm short as all get out, but this guy seemed gigantic to me. And
he sounds like he should be playing for Ohio State, so he's probably pretty good.
Right, yeah, with a name like that. Yeah. So that's exciting. Let's see. I mean, literally as many offensive linemen as we can get. I am just all about it. Bring me all the offensive linemen. That was our biggest. To me, yes, the defense was terrible, but our offensive line was our biggest weakness this last year. Yeah. Thoughts?
Shockingly bad. And then I was looking at this earlier today too to try and prep up, and I was like, "Where's the beef?" That's what I was looking for here. I need some more meat. We need some linemen, both sides of the ball, not just O line, but D line too. But yeah, O line was shockingly took that big of a step back. Now again, you lost. Steve Avila was starting a playoff game. You lost 3 other seniors from the year before, but still, I did not think the fall off would be that bad.
I'm pretty sure Sterling.
But then you have to you're adding the guy from Alabama. What was it, Brock Summermeyer or whatever?
Oh, Brockemeyer. He didn't even play.
Okay. Yeah, right. But I'm saying like these guys have been in the program for a year now, and so maybe they're counting on maybe the development of guys instead of trying to bring in people to plug in these gaps immediately. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they're depending on these guys to develop another year, because you just transferred, you're in a new place. Not everybody's just going to come in and flourish right away. Some people are going to take time to adapt and to adjust. So hopefully that's what that is.
Yeah. Jakyle Baker, I know, is he should be a good receiver, deep ball threat type. And lots of offensive linemen. You love to see that. That's what I thought that Sterling Brooks, it's saying North Crowley. I thought for some reason that he was related to Bubba Brooks, but if he went to North Crowley, then maybe not. But now I know this kid, Kyle Limmerman, is like one of the best kickers in the nation, supposedly. So this is an exciting one.
Yeah, that's one of Jaden's guys, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Sure he is. But yeah, so and I know that one of the offensive linemen that we added in the portal from North Texas has already gone to North Carolina instead. I mean, it's like you're saying, Billy, it's impossible to keep track of all this stuff.
I think if you've gone a little bit further, I think the transfers portion is key too, right? I know you just took the screen away, but like I think Nana Asofa-Mensah or whatever his name is, I'm sure I said that wrong, from Notre Dame.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's a guy that'll be a big piece. Bless Harris started quite a few games for Florida State. That's a nice piece, right? You've got some guys in here that I think are going to be big players. They brought in Drake Dabney from Baylor. That's the next Jared Wiley, right? Is a guy that's going to come in and shock, moving from one Big 12 team to another. So there's some good names down there in the transfer portal area. I just don't know what to make of high school recruiting anymore. Do what?
Travis McLeod.
Oh yeah. McAllister, you got McAllister coming in from Boise. I always liked him in high school. He's from Hazel. I thought he's gonna be really good.
Oh, so. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there's Bless Harris. Yeah, there he is, Eric McAllister. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a plug and play. He should immediately be in there making plays.
What position is that?
Wide receiver, Eric McAllister. Yeah, man, we got two good receivers. Yeah.
Well, this should be. I mean, this team is
not one from Notre Dame,
weapons.
right?
Yeah.
This has never been a team to lack weapons, right? You just need to you need to give whoever's going to be quarterback. I'm guessing Hoover at least starts the year. You need to give him time. You got to give him a little bit of time. Let him find these guys. And I mean, you got Savion Williams coming back, right? I saw that, right? He's coming back.
Yeah, so, Savion's coming back. And
JoJo Earl again.
Yeah. And I like, I think that we can replace Amani Bailey. I think that we've got plenty of between Cam Cook and Trey Battle and these new running backs we got coming in. I think we can replace Amani Bailey's production. We're going to have plenty of weapons. And another thing from somebody that I was talking to in the program, they had said that, we think that the coaching staff, or we think as a staff, we kind of took for granted all of the leaders that we had last year because the culture change was so swift and so easy that they just kind of assumed like, okay, it's just going to carry into the next season. But you lost the Max Duggans, you lost the Steve Avilas, you lost the Dylan Hortons and the D Winterses and all of these big leadership guys that you didn't hit the leadership piece of it hard enough. You didn't hit the culture piece of it hard enough in the offseason and just kind of assumed that it would continue by osmosis. And they literally said, we will never make that mistake again, right? We're going to continue to hit the culture piece hard every single year as if it was that first year. So that made me feel good. What do y'all think?
My favorite thing relating to the leadership thing, and I saw this quote, and I say it to a lot of people now too, is watching Steve Avila in the pre-draft process, talking about Max Duggan. He's like, you hear everyone say they love their quarterback, right? But we would all die for Max Duggan. That entire team would have died for that man. Yeah. But they would have taken a bullet, wouldn't even thought twice about it. But yeah, replacing leadership would have helped, which is why I think maybe a veteran quarterback, but at the same time, that's got to be a culture you build from within. So maybe you build around Hoover, or you got Haas already in there. Maybe that helps build it up sooner.
Yeah, I really like Josh Hoover. And I mean, we saw him, that BYU game is proof of concept to me. I mean, if you give him time, he can be a surgeon back there and pick a defense apart, but he just so rarely had time. He was either thrown into a situation that he was not prepared for at Iowa State, or he just was getting obliterated because the offensive line had absolutely no nastiness about them, right? No physicality about it. I think as a whole, the team lacked physicality, and that was another big issue that we saw in 2023. Certainly, that was certainly not an issue back in the 2000s, right? Back in the 2010s, right, Chris? I mean,
back in the day.
Yeah.
We were talking about transfers a second ago. I wanted to ask you this, Chris. What would it have taken you to transfer out of TCU when you were playing? What kind of NIL package are we talking about?
That's a good question.
Okay, I was just about to say a check. Yeah, these kids are looking for money. That's what.
Yeah.
What the kid from Michigan that went to Kansas for basketball, they were like, they were all getting on his case, like, why would you leave? Why would you leave? He was like, y'all want to go to a higher paying job? Like, yeah, exactly right. That's exactly what I would do. I would definitely go to a higher paying job. But I mean, I'm a TCU lifer, so no, I wouldn't have left.
Well, I know you are, but like everyone's got a number. Like say $10 million, you could have gone and been to Texas.
I would. There is a little. There is very little. I would not go for $10 million.
$10 parking pass. $10,000.
Well, I don't know if y'all saw this as well. Speaking of defensive changes, but we have a new linebackers coach as well. The former Nevada head coach, or Nevada, I guess is how you're actually supposed to say it. Let me get his name here.
Is that like Ken Wilson or something?
Ken Wilson, yes. So we now have 3 people with head coaching experience on this staff, 2 of them on defense. Is that a good thing, or is this a too many cooks in the kitchen situation?
Big deal. You want somebody there that knows the process. It makes it easier for the head coach because he knows exactly what the head coach is looking for. And then he has somebody who is a proven leader. I don't know if he's a proven winner, but at least he's a proven leader because he's been a head coach before. And so, he knows how to communicate. And a lot of times those guys that take those position jobs after they've been a head coach, they're like, man, I don't want the stresses and the politics of being a head coach. I just want to coach ball. I just want to coach guys. And it's a lot of times their career flourishes and turns around through that. And so hopefully, this is one of those type of things.
Could this be like a Sonny Dykes come in for a year and then jump to SMU type situation? Could this be a guy coming in for a year and then going somewhere else?
Well, he's not an analyst though. He is a position coach. But we did actually, Chris, were you still at TCU when we had Randy Shannon that one season? Or had you already graduated?
Yeah, he was a linebacker coach. Well, and I was gone, but I came back and watched the meetings, and I met him a couple of times too, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but I guess that's the
went to Miami, right? Or did he come from Miami?
He had come from Miami. He
just came from Miami.
Yeah. He had been the head coach at Miami. But yeah, so that is a situation where you got a position coach who's just at a 1-year stop. Maybe, I don't know. Tim saying if you give him $10 million, he'd go to TCU. Good for you, Tim.
Well, in this era of the portal, right? You kind of take it year by year. You kind of want to build a team for a year and then bounce out. Now, I think the teams like Georgia, right, perennially powerful, they're building linemen on top of linemen on top of linemen. You can't buy size like that. And you're getting guys that stick around for that reason. But a lot of teams like TCU, you can be in the market for getting a plug and play for a year. And that applies to coaches too. No reason why it can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
looking at NFL, man.
Yeah, looking ahead. Yeah, everyone's talking about how much money it's going to take for them to go to TCU. I mean, honestly, TCU costs that much. So, like, yeah, if somebody, you're just talking about a free scholarship, really, at this point. We're talking about $10 million to TCU. So, looking ahead to next year, I mean, we've talked about some reasons for optimism despite the horrible season that was. But if you had to make a way too early prediction, let me actually pull up the schedule as well while I'm talking about this. If you had to make a prediction, how many wins do you think the Frogs will get, and how many would be acceptable to you before Sonny's on the hot seat?
You done you pissed Chris off by assuming Sonny will be on the hot seat.
I can't stand that shit.
I don't know. I was looking at this. I was looking at this earlier too. I mean, I was thinking maybe. I don't know. Is 8-4 too optimistic? Is that too pessimistic? I'll take it at this point. After missing a bowl game, I'll take 8-4.
Yeah, 8 wins to me. 8 wins would be great. I would be very happy with 8 wins. Do you think we can do it though?
8 wins will be a super successful season because I don't see us winning 8 wins.
Could you imagine rewinding 365 days and saying 8 wins would be super successful?
Yeah, after we were just in the national championship.
I'm not saying it'd be good. I'm saying as far as where we came from to not have a quarterback, because look, very rarely are teams successful when you go into the season. You're like, well, who's your quarterback? And you're like, well, it's between this. Like that's not a recipe for success. Recipe for success is what kind of offense that team got. What kind of defense. We don't know what our defense is gonna be like. We don't know who our quarterback gonna be. We don't know who's gonna develop. We don't know how people are gonna come on in second year. eight wins would be a heck of a turnaround. Well, hey, if you get us 8 wins, then thank you, Sonny. Thank you.
Well, here's the schedule, right? This is what we're looking at next year. You've definitely got several winnable games just in this early piece, right? I mean, even if you play like we did last year, I feel good about those first 4, right? Those first 4 are very winnable games. Kansas is your first big test. Arizona is going to be good again, even though they lost their coach. I mean, well, I guess we'll see how many players end up transferring out. But I would expect all 3 of these games to be tough. Houston will be on the upswing with Willie Fritz. I don't know if they'll be super competitive yet. And then we got a really, honestly, tough 3-game stretch to end the season. So,
well, just that's not a formalized schedule, by the way. That's just who we're playing.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, just looking at them in this order, I'm saying, these 3 are tough. Oklahoma State, UCF, Utah, Tech, Arizona, and Kansas are all tough games. And honestly, SMU's gonna give you their best shot as well. They always do.
6-6. All right, never mind. 6-6.
Yeah, until I see our defense and offense perform, I can't say any game's going to be easy. Maybe that. Is there
Baylor
Stephen
for
F. Austin
sure
on there somewhere?
Well, Baylor's off,
but I mean, I don't know how they're going. Yeah, did we blow
Baylor's bad, and they're going to add an FCS game to get to 12. So that there's 2 dubs.
Yeah, okay.
Stanford's bad,
I
and
feel
Cincinnati.
Good about FCS.
Stanford.
But I mean,
well,
we
Stanford
didn't make a bowl game. I don't know if y'all know this. Just didn't make a bowl game.
I don't think they beat Kansas. I don't think they beat Arizona. Tech, flip a coin on Tech. Houston, I don't think is back yet. Probably get Cincinnati. Probably get Baylor. Oklahoma State. I still don't think they're good, even though they made the Big 12 title game. That's such a confusing team.
Well, they got 48-year-old Alan Bowman at quarterback,
Oh, that's true. UCF should be good. Again, they were Jekyll and Hyde last year, but you add in KJ Jefferson.
Yeah.
And speaking of 48-year-old quarterbacks, you got Cam Rising there in Utah and have to go to Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's I want to say 8-4. I can pick out 4 losses. Like I don't have a problem picking. I don't have a problem picking 4 losses out. It's just maybe you get 7-5, 8-4.
Yeah. So after looking at that again,
like how we used to build. We need to build how we used to build. Hey, I want a bowl game this year. Let's aim for a bowl game.
Yeah.
And then after that, next year, then we'll aim for a conference title game or a winning with a higher winning record or something like. That's how TCU has to build. Like we forgot. If you don't remember when Coach P was here, bro, we used to have to build years of teams. Like we were very rarely. Andy's freshman year, 8-5. Trayvon's freshman year, I don't think we went to a bowl game. Or his first.
No, we went to a bowl game. We were in the Buffalo Wild Wings
bowl. Okay, there we go. Yeah. And I remember, and we lost to Michigan State and Le'Veon Bell, right? Yeah, exactly.
Kirk Cousins.
But I'm just saying, yeah, Kirk. And it wasn't.
I don't think it was Kirk Cousins. It was. But Le'Veon Bell was on that.
I think it was Le'Veon Bell for sure.
And that was the game that Sky dropped the punt.
I think Kirk Cousins my age. There you go. I was at that game too. And so, but I'm just saying, so I'm used to having to build a team. You know what I mean? Even Max Duggan's freshman year, they weren't super successful. Like it takes time to build here at TCU. So we have to. I think we're just at the early stages of this thing. So if next year you show progress, and the year after that you show progress, then that lets me know when Josh Hoover's a junior and a senior that this team has. Okay, we're going to be good, and that's all we have to build for. Is getting to a mature quarterback. We're not Alabama where we can beat you with everybody else. Like we have to have a mature quarterback to win.
Yeah. After looking at that schedule again, I think 7 wins. I'd be very happy with 7 wins and just making a bowl game. If we get 6 wins, I feel very good about that. Joey says he has us at 7-5 and his way too early, but that was before the Arizona news, right? Yeah. So
Connor Cook, by the way, it was Connor Cook, and he went 4 of 11 in that game. Are you serious? How did we lose?
Sky Dawson.
I remember
Sky Dawson.
No, but their defense was hard to move. Like we could not move the ball against their defense. But mind you, this back when that offense, and I don't know if you remember how stale that offense that year was. I mean, bro, we just could not score points. It was hard to watch. It was basically the defense that it was this year. That's what our offense looked like that year. That was and then they brought in Meacham and Sonny, and we thought it was the greatest offensive scheme ever
Was that
because
Jared
we went from
Anderson?
such
Was that the Jared
putrid
Anderson era?
offense.
Jared Anderson,
Yeah, I didn't want to
current
talk about my
Baylor
boy.
coach, Jared Anderson. I don't know if y'all saw that.
I did see that. What a world.
A tight ends coach or something?
Tight ends
Yeah.
coach, Jared Anderson. Man, look at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the 2013 offense preview. Yeah, that Buffalo Wild Wings ball. Man alive. We've been through some things, boys.
Yeah.
We've been through some things. But yeah, hopefully we're back in the bowl game mix. Let me ask you this though, because I mean I hinted at it. What would it take? What would it take, in your opinion, to put Sonny Dykes on the hot seat? Is there any way after next year he's on the hot seat, or do you think he automatically gets a second year because he took us to the national championship?
Yeah, two more years like last year.
Two. You pull one more off like that, like four, and then, like to look putrid and to look confused and unmotivated. Another year of that? Oh no, I'll lead the charge. You know what I mean? Like you got one more season of that. I need to see progress, or else we're going somewhere else. Because I need to see, was that first year? Is that the norm, or was it last year was the norm? I need to see which one is the norm. And if you repeat again, then okay, that's just your norm. That's what I can expect from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not. You got one more season, fam.
What do you think, Billy?
Of that?
Well,
like
I originally say two. I cannot imagine Donati firing after another miss a bowl game year. I can't see him doing it with one.
But that puts him on the hot seat.
Okay, one is on the hot seat, right? I was talking about getting fired. I think you do last year 2 more times, he's gone. But I don't know if I see that happening or not. I mean, the first year again, that was all Gary Patterson guys. Like 90% of that roster was GP players. You just put a little different seasoning on them, and boom, they make the natty. So I think 2 more years that gives you enough time to quote unquote get your recruiting classes in. But nowadays, that's such a revolving door of players. You got 2 more cracks at the apple, then you're gone. If you don't get at least 8 wins or whatever. But
yeah, hopefully, I mean, West Virginia. We got a lot of West Virginia fans in the chat today. They were all calling for Neil Brown's head this time last year, and now everyone's trusting the climb. You know, they're looking better than ever. So, well, I don't know about better than ever, but better than they have in a while.
Tavon Austin ain't walking through that door. Not better than ever.
Yeah, but hopefully that's our situation, right? Hopefully we're sitting here like, oh man, like this is because it is very sobering to say, hold on, wait a minute. That was, like you're saying, Billy, that was all GP players that you relaxed, you got rid of some of the toxicity, you relaxed the strictures on them, allowed them to just play and have fun, and we go to the natty. But hey, can you replicate it with your own guys and with transfer portal guys? We're gonna have to see. It's shocking to even consider as a TCU fan, what scenario a coach that took you to the national championship might be on the hot seat. But I mean, the landscape moves so fast now, and with realignment the way that it is, the last thing you want is to be in a stale position whenever the next round of realignment comes and you're not looking as valuable as you could be. Well, that's all I've got to say about TCU. Y'all got any more thing to say about dissecting the frogs here today?
I think we hit everything for me. I don't know if Chris got anything more, but as far as that, it's basketball season, baby, and baseball.
Are y'all watching the game?
Number 5 preseason in baseball, number 19 in basketball. That is going to more than wash away the stink.
Are we winning big, Chris? I thought we're up a little bit. It's on Big 12 plus.
We're only. They came back. It's Big 12 plus. Stupid. Anyway, it's like 33-31 at halftime right now. We're winning, I believe.
Somebody put it on Twitter. I don't remember who it was. It might have been, I think it might have been Jeff. Was it Jeff Mitchell that put on the Big 12 in basketball is what the SEC football thinks it is?
Yes.
It's 100% accurate. 100%.
And that's legit.
There's literally not a game off. Like when UCF can beat Kansas, there are no games off in this whole league. It is insane. It's absolutely insane. Well, I'll let y'all plug.
Alabama don't ever have to worry about losing to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
Chris, tell the people what you got going on. Tell them where to follow you. Plug whatever you'd like. Shameless plugs.
Okay. Sure. Well, you can follow me on everything at KRG Funny. I follow back sometimes. It depends. I don't know if you're cute. Also, I am actually I don't know if y'all know, but I do construction as well. and I own a construction company, and we're building the Big Laugh. Well, we're renovating the building. It wasn't Meso Maya. We're renovating the Meso Maya that was in downtown Fort Worth, about 2 blocks from Sundance Square, and we're creating the Big Laugh Comedy Club, which will be the newest comedy venue in the DFW. It's going to be big. It's going to be a big deal out here. So make sure you stay on the lookout. We should be opening and starting their first shows in the beginning of February. So please be on the lookout for that. Come support that. Besides that, follow me on the social media. Got a lot of stuff going. About to kick the tour back up after we get done with this. But besides that, man, that was it.
Wonderful. Billy, you got anything going on you want to plug?
Follow KRG Funny. Follow Clint Foster Comedy. I'm now the one person not doing funny stuff anymore, and I need to get back doing that though. I got the itch, man. I got the itch, Chris. Let's link up. Let's get something going on the stage.
Not even cracking jokes in the office.
I'm about to leave. I'm
funny in the office.
I'm about to go right now to open mic. So
yeah. Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, you should follow Billy Wessels on Twitter, if nothing else, especially if you're a TCU fan. Always great takes. And boys, it was so fun doing this, man. It was so great being back with y'all and commiserating about the Frogs together.
Let's get some beers sometime.
Absolutely.
Get some beers.
Yes. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been the Biggest 12. Again, like they were saying, follow him, KRG Funny, at Billy Wessels. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, at Clint Foster Comedy. Follow me on Twitter, at Clint_Foster55. You got so much homework to do, y'all. You got so many people to follow right now. And make sure, most importantly, that you do like and subscribe to at Big 12 VOCFB. That's how you're going to see the show every single week. Every time it happens, you're going to want to be a part of that. Thank you boys so much again for being with me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Y'all stay warm out there, and I hope your team wins. Go Big 12.